Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it is Season 25 of the grandest party of them all, and in today's video, we're showcasing the new Verse lore. Now, lore hasn't got a lot of love with the latest celebrations. Obviously, PKA was kind of revolving around Blackbeard, and then the Blitz battles revolving around Kuzan, so lore hasn't really had its time to shine. So I thought we'd start off the Grand Party Season 25 with the new Verse lore, find some slasher teams to see if we can take him down. Lore brings a very interesting mechanic where he just basically just stops slashers in their tracks. If you put him onto like a striker side team, you can do some really fun stuff. On top of that, in Grand Party, there's a bunch of extra rules. Obviously, the rule set's working for him, so this is what we're going to be utilizing in today's video. So as you can see at the top there, we have a bit of like a Psy strikery kind of build. We have the Int team in the middle, and then we have the Cerebral team down the bottom. Because we're running like Cerebral down the bottom, we kind of have to do some bit of wonky stuff with stuff like Yamato and Atlas and having the Cerebrals and the Int characters. And then obviously S-Hawk being on the Int team makes it a little bit wonky. But with the release, obviously, with Blackbeard alongside Lore, he's very good, so I thought we'd bring him as well. And this is what we're going to be rocking. Now, the top team, it's going to be looking at going against slashers. So that's sort of the main goal of today's video, and we'll see how we can fight. But if you enjoy the video, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Don't forget, you only have, say 9-ish hours of day 1 of Grand Party. I did put out a Gear 5 Luffy int. I still think he's the best leader. Wrecks everything kind of video. Make sure to go check out that as well, because OBTC's got so much going on right now. Like, we have the PKA Hime Turtle live, like the farming still live, and then we have Blitz Battle on right now, and the start of the GP season. So crazy stuff. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any content. With that said, let's dive in. Alright, so we found a Shanks-based leader, and the upside of versing Shanks is we know that there is going to be a slasher team somewhere. They could run Cerebral, but like if you see Shanks, you're most likely going to see him over on a slasher-based team. Now, ironically, we're actually using Shanks over here on our Cerebral-based team. I was using this particular team, and like I don't know if I'm super convinced. I might look at bringing the slasher team over onto this team and then bulking out my in team a little bit more with something like Yamato. But look, I have to wait and see how this actually plays out. Just Lore doesn't exactly have that much going for him. But what he does do, he does target Psy and Int strike a Cerebral teammate. So you kind of want to have those types of characters. Characters like Shanks and Saul and Yamato, and Atlas, they're all going to like benefit heavily from the Lore burst ability, because it's going to give like buttloads of stats. Man, this is going to hurt early. Like really, S-Hawk going that fast is kind of crazy. Kind of nuts. Yeah, you need to relax. You just need to calm down. But if you don't have those types of characters, he is still just going to do 7,000 fixed damage to 3 enemies 2 times, which is actually a lot of damage, and then can do half stats to slashes. So if you're going up against some slash characters, you can hit them very hard, or apply half stats so that way you can actually tank them very nicely. So having Shanks go off there is really good. Now Saul's going to go, and he has lost a lot of HP, so he's actually going to do some damage, which is great to see for us. I'm actually going to bink out this now. The upside to this season too is Lore has a bunch of extra, well, 1 extra burst and a bunch of extra cooldown, being a 40% reduction. Now, you do just have to wait 60 seconds for Lore, which is a very long time to wait for a burst ability. It just means that, like, at the start of that first game, you're not going to have it. Like, we can get it at the 40-second mark, as you guys saw there, because of the buffs he has this particular rule set. But otherwise, he's just not going to be in a great spot for that. So, it's a bit of a shame. I believe Shanks right now, too. Actually, no, I think it's Strikers, Psy Strikers that get the extra buff. So, nice, easy win for the first one. I'm not going to be taking on stuff like Int Gear 5 and whatnot, because I just don't even think Lore is near the caliber of what those types of leaders are. But we are going to try and take on some Super Sugos as characters like Shanks and stuff as well. We'll take on a slasher team with the anti-slasher Psy Striker team. And this particular team, look, it's built to basically take down slashers, which is kind of a deficit to the team, because if you don't find a slasher team, it's kind of just there. And that's a big downside to Lore. He buffs Striker, he doesn't buff Psy. I feel like this guy should be Kid. Like, that way we could use one of Lore as well, and make way more sense. But at the end of the day, this is what we have. So, we're going to take a Shanks burst very early, which means they're going to get 20% cooldown very quickly, as well as do a bunch of damage. Now, they have level 8 CD reduction, because Shanks is just an absolute menace. Roger Whitebeard isn't ready to go, but Shanks is. Don't hit Yamato. Okay, hit Odin. That's good. Now I can pop this. And this is actually going to apply half stats, which is awesome. So that way, those shots from Odin and Roger and Whitebeard and Cat Viper are going to do a lot less. Nice stuff. Okay, unfortunately, we didn't get our Law to attack at the right time. But that's okay. Enel's going to go off. Enel's great because he just lowers the CD. Even with Enel, though, they are sitting on 8 CD reduction, which is crazy. Yamato is going to hit everyone that has half stats, which is awesome. So that's another upside using Law against slashes. When you have a character like Yamato who hits so hard, when you know the enemy has half stats, just like back in the day with Roger, you are good to go. Law to me just feels like a weakened version of what Roger once was, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting early. But look, time will tell, and as the metas shift over time, we'll definitely see how we go. So going up against Shanks, nice and easy, nice and simple to start with. Law getting a confident W there. Let's move on to the next fight. Alright, so the next one is a Psy Gear 5. Look, Psy Gear 5 is very, very good still, so we'll see how we go. He's running the Int team in the front, which is terrifying because Int, not only this season, but just in general, have just become so good. Like, with the addition of Yamato and Blackbeard, like, they are just so freaking good. Oh, it's actually Powerhouse. It's the speedy Powerhouse boy. Okay, different. Alright, wasn't expecting this. This is actually probably worse. Like, Blackbeard has 29 cooldown. Like, what the fuck is that? 29 cooldown on Blackbeard. Bruh, with 22 speed. Like, it's just basically going to be a free win. Like, free win early for them. Very smart tactic, though, because they do have Gear 5 Luffy, and Luffy wants to go very, very quickly. So this particular team in the front for a Psy Gear 5 team is actually very, very good. Now he's just basically got all of these specials, and we are going to get absolutely, like, bodied. Like, kill Yamato. Oh, Yamato's just going to kill someone here. Kill Luffy. Kill Luffy. Kill Luffy. Kill Luffy. Damn. I saw him hit Luffy. I saw her hit Luffy, and I was like, damn, she actually just binked Luffy, said, see you later. That's crazy. The Yamato dying strat, like, is kind of nuts. Like, we're stuffed now, because Luffy's going to hit everyone, but, like... Oh, Atlas survived. Shame no one's alive to make Atlas actually work. So let's skip this. Fortunately, yeah, that Powerhouse team, man, it's... I don't think it's, like, the best team in the game, but, like, it definitely moves so quick, and it can do some disgusting things in Grand Party. Like, some very, very disgusting things. But we do have our 2 Trump teams in the back. I'm not sold on that Cerebral team. Like, I did have to sort of move some pretty big pieces of puzzles from, say, like, this particular team, for example. I'd love to have, like, Soul on this team, and something like Yamato on the Int team, but we might mix it up and bring Slashes back for the final fight. See what happens. Now, going up against Slashes, we have a burst ability at our disposal, ready to go. So does the enemy, though. And look, the enemy won't exactly go crazy with theirs until they need to. As soon as they get in a position where they're losing, they're going to spam burst till the sun comes home. So I would ideally like to take a burst ability in this fight and still win. That's the goal here. Alright, so I'm going to use this now. They've got their specials ready to go. If Zoro Sanji brings everyone to the front, which I don't believe they're going to. Awesome. Beautiful. Action binds and special bind. You love to see that. This should do some pretty good damage. Take out S-Hawk for me. Nice. Now, ideally, I'd like to see a burst here. I would like the enemy to burst. So, Luffy, if you could be so kind and send a burst my way, that would be A-okay. Do it now, Broly. Do it now. Please. Alright, let's try and bait him by doing this. Okay, he did. Beautiful. Beautiful. It worked. The skip strat ran supreme. Love to see that. Beautiful stuff. Now we're going to go into the last fight. Int vs Psy. But the enemy doesn't have their burst. And the enemy's running Odin, actually, which is pretty good for us, because then we can actually nerf Odin with... is that Wano Law as well? Yeah, okay, so we can nerf Wano Law and Odin with our burst ability. That's going to be good times. So we can slap some half stats on that. Something like Moria doesn't really need to come with half stats, does he? But I guess, look, it's still fine. Alright, so we got Pudding to go very, very quickly. We love that. The earlier Pudding can use her special, the better. The 40% charge or whatever it is just so friggin' disgusting. You got a bunch of fixed damage there. We got a bunch of half stats going. That's going to basically stop Odin's damage. Yamato's still going to hit me hard here. Alright, no, S-Hawk tanks that. That's fine. S-Hawk is just going to reflect all that damage, baby. Took out the 2 slasher characters. Kind of wish that you didn't hit them, but at the same time, we now have forced out mechanic. And from there, it's basically over. Blackbeard hasn't even gone yet, which is crazy. Enel's going to do a little bit of damage, not a lot. Moria's still hanging on, which is great. I'm hoping, Pudding will actually get her special, which is great as well. So she's going to give a bunch of cooldowns to... Oh, she got knocked back, damn. It's okay. Bunch of half stats now. Luffy's back into the fray. But that's not going to be too big of an issue. He probably will kill Moria here. Oh no, he hit Luffy. Okie dokie. Moria's going to die, but now we've got Smoker coming in, and now we can do some special bind shenanigans. Basically, this is just a wrap. This fight is just basically over. The enemy's getting very close to their burst ability, though. That's kind of what I'm looking at, going like, hey, I don't really want to deal with that. S-Hawk's going to wrap this up now, though. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Beautiful stuff. Luffy can tank, but like he can't survive forever. So there we go. Nice. The in-team, man, the in-team right now is so strong, like so ridiculously strong. I am going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to make some changes, and then we're going to come back with just a little bit of a different lineup. Alright, so we mixed some things up a bit, and we brought Slashes back into the fray. We're still obviously running anti-Slashes ourselves, but with, like, the Cerebral team, it just kind of also wasn't working for me. So I thought we'd use Shanks over on the Slasher build. We'll then move some characters around like Yamato and Soul, put them onto our other teams and see how this particular setup goes. I really wasn't sold with that Cerebral team. I tried with Law, but I'm always going to go back to Old Faithful Slashers. They just work so well. Powerhouse are getting buffed this season. Cerebral are getting buffed this season. Strikers are getting buffed this season. And Law is still giving buffs to Roger and Whitebeard as well as Shanks on this particular team. So it just made a bit more sense for me to just move towards Slashers. Now, we did find a Strength team. Strength are getting massively nerfed this season, so that's something to note. If you are running Strength, just be mindful you're losing a lot of speed, you're losing a lot of attack. You probably still will be okay, but just up against teams that are a bit more well-designed, that are really funneling into their leaders and their rule sets, you're just going to get stuck with going up against stuff like this, where they can just basically wipe your whole team. Now, this is against Shotzi, one of my old Alliance members, last Laugh player. He got a lot of investment. He plays the game a lot. So, this Slash team just goes absolutely so hard, man. And the fact that they haven't nerfed Slashes again is just wild. It's wild. Slashes have such a good array of, cross classes as well. But obviously with Law, they have a straight counter now, but Law has to find them for that to actually work. So, man, Slashes are just so good. They work under everyone, man. So, as for how Law's actually performed, like I said at the start, I don't really see him being a formidable threat to the meta. I don't really see him being a must max out unit or a character that you're definitely going to want to run, because he's just not there. He's just not there. He doesn't do that damage that Luffy does. He's not doing the force down like what Kaido can do, and he's definitely not doing what the combination of the force down and the damage that the Imp Gear 5 can do too. So, get a very, very easy win there. We move into the second fight, which is Slashes here. If you know what you're fighting, you can have a lot of fun with Law. Don't get me wrong. But other than that, I just don't really see a place for him in the big leagues, you know? Now, Saul's getting a very nice buff over on this team, so big fan of bringing Saul on a Psy team. On top of that, I can run an extra Legend on the bench, and look, why not just throw on Psy Gear 5 6+ whenever I can, whenever it comes to having a spare Legend slot. But Psy have a lot of good characters on the Strikers too. I could have ran Kuzan on the bench. Could have just thrown what's his name? Odin on the bench, or Roger on the bench, something like that, and done some fun stuff there. So, now that Shanks is ready to go, I believe they're probably, let's do this, knock back some of their characters, hopefully, down the line. Beautiful. Okay, massive half stats now. The half stats is just huge, because all the damage they stereotypically would do, it's just going to do peanuts. But, they can't do anything now that Law's gone. The downside to Law, as a character in PvP, and I spoke about this in his showcase, is that he only has 80% chance. So, like, we're getting very lucky with these, like, action binds and special binds, but you can't really bank on them, which is a huge problem for the character. It should just be 100% chance, and then just, I don't know, choose 3 slashes. He could be a very powerful weapon on the striker defensive team, though. Did that make Saul go low enough? I don't think it did. No, it did not. Alright, Saul's going to start countering, and once Saul starts countering, it's basically over. To be honest, though, it's pretty much over. So, nice. Alright, there you guys go. That is Law in Grand Party. I wanted to give him some time in the sun, but honestly, I've been very underwhelmed with Law in regular play and PvP. Like, across the board, I just haven't really been that impressed with what he's bringing to that table. Well, let me know what you guys think of Law in PvP and the rest of the game in Grand Party in the comment section below. While you're down there, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. As always, homies, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.